Hello everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another Top 5 video. Previously, I made 2 videos on which Ertl items are the worst and which ones are the best. But for today, we'll be discussing my picks for the top 5 CANCELLED Thomas items for Ertl. Before we begin, I want to express my history with this range and why it means so much to me. Ever since I was a toddler, I became obsessed with these Thomas toys, and I've been collecting them up until 2001 when the line discontinued in America, which was extremely disappointing in my opinion. Thanks to sites like Amazon and eBay, I was able to grab all the UK exclusive items including the new characters in seasons 6 and 7. But it was too good to last in the UK when the line came to a close in 2004 and was replaced by Take Along. While I do think Take Along is okay overall, but it's not as detailed and memorable as its predecessor. It just makes me proud to be a 90s kid in the first place. Years later, I've learned that there were some items that were meant to be released by Ertl, but were cancelled for different reasons. And that's the subject of today's video. So without any more confusion or delay, let's begin this brand new top 5, shall we? Number 5 is PT Boomer. This human character was originally going to appear in Thomas Magic Railroad as one of the main villains along with Diesel 10 and Splodge, but was unfortunately removed due to the stupid test viewers thinking that he's too frightening for little kids. The reason PT Boomer is so low on the list is due to the fact that he was cut out from the final version of the film. Secondly, he was also originally going to be renamed Pete Boom as part of a spring release in 2000. If the character weren't cut out, not only it would have made the final version a lot better, but his cancelled Ertl model would have given him more publicity than what he got, besides his 2 appearances in a couple coloring books. Number 4. The other Gold Rail items. Gold Rail is a subcategory of the Ertl diecast Thomas range but were originally designed by Bandai in Japan. In addition, these models have a special magnetic coupling that lets you couple and uncouple trains, which is pretty cool in my eyes. But because this range was short-lived outside Japan, there were many items that were cancelled including Henry's model, which is sad because they've already managed to release the other main characters like Thomas, Edward, and Gordon, but not Henry. While I do prefer the normal diecast range when it comes to Ertl toys, but I would have loved these cancelled Gold Rail items to be released as well as the other Bandai models that were Japanese exclusive because they look awesome and quite underrated nowadays. Number 3. Agnes and Jemima. To those of you who don't know, Agnes and Jemima were 2 of the blue coaches who worked on the Scarlet Railway along with other coaches and brake bands such as Lucy and Beatrice. And Ruth too. Unfortunately, they only appeared in the Railway series, as well as in other miscellaneous media, and in the show, they were replaced by coaches that were a lot like them. And that begs the question, why didn't Ertl bother to make the Scarlet Railway coaches in the first place before the line was discontinued? Well, whatever the case, the reason these 2 are number 3 is because not only they're Railway series exclusive, but because a lot of kids these days don't know who they really were. Not to mention that they weren't really televised for some reason. Still, it would have been nice for them to be released in UK stores as well as eBay and Amazon. Number 2 is the truck. These trucks were used on the Culdifell Mountain Railway. Patrick once used one of these to push up Devil's Back and eventually save some mountain climbers during a storm. One of the biggest reasons the truck is number 2 is because we already have Catherine released back in 2003, and I was kind of hoping the truck would be made as well, but sadly, only a couple prototypes were made. Another reason why the truck deserves the number 2 spot is due to the fact that a bizarre wooden railway version was made alongside an inaccurate version of Catherine and was labeled as Catherine's cargo car. If the truck were ever released in the UK, then she would have looked much better than her wooden railway counterpart in terms of accuracy. Now before I get to my number 1 pick, I just want to give at least one honorable mention. The Cadbury number 1 locomotive. This item was believed to promote the Cadbury factories in the UK, but for unknown reasons, it was cancelled. Cadbury number 1 is also based on the real-life locomotive of the same name. The reason this is an honorable mention is because I don't recall Cadbury number 1 being a Thomas character, especially in the Railway series. Oh, and only a few prototypes were made. And the number 1 cancelled Ertl Thomas item is Mike. There are big reasons why I put him as number 1. Since we already have Jock and Frank released, I was really hoping Mike would appear as well, but unfortunately, like the other candidates on this list, he was cancelled and only prototypes were made and sold at an auction site. Another reason why Mike is number one is because he's one of my favorite miniature railway engines along with Jock, Frank, Rex, and Bert. And I've already made a top 5 video on these engines, so go check that one out. But the most interesting thing about Mike's Ertl model is that he was originally going to be released in 2005 as part of the 60th anniversary of the Railway series alongside the truck and 2 of the Skarloey Railway coaches. And in my opinion, if the Ertl range were to continue in the UK, then I believe 2005 should have been the final year of that toy line since it marked the 60th anniversary of the Thomas franchise, as I've stated before. But no, it had to end in 2004 just to be replaced by Take Along. Not that I hate Take Along to begin with, but still, I think Ertl would have ended with an overall bang in 2005 with these new releases. That way, when the 60th anniversary ends, then it would be a perfect time to replace Ertl with Take Along in the UK region. After all, the original Thomas show ended in 2020 as part of the 75th anniversary, so why couldn't they do the same thing for Ertl in the UK during the 60th anniversary? Man, talk about a wasted opportunity. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below on which of these do you think should have been released in the first place. If you have any questions or if there are any models I might have missed, then let me know too. Also, sorry I didn't upload this yesterday. I was busy babysitting my 2 little nephews as well as doing other chores around the house. I hope you all understand that. And don't worry guys, there will be more top videos regarding Thomas the Tank Engine this month. I just need to write and print more scripts first. This is Trevor Davis, signing off.